I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that.
Political debates have become a battleground where logic and reason often clash with entrenched ideologies. Recently, Bill Maher stepped into the spotlight, confronting Whoopi Goldberg's views with his trademark wit and directness. This wasn't just another celebrity showdown, it was a powerful reminder for those clinging to narratives that fall apart under scrutiny.
Clash. It served as a stark reminder for those holding on to narratives that unravel when examined closely.
Understand that part of our sorry racial history in this country is that the point of view from a black person is often going to be very different and sometimes shocking.
Bill Maher has built his reputation by challenging both sides of the political spectrum. But his recent exchange with Whoopi Goldberg raised the stakes. As Whoopi tried to defend her stance with the usual progressive rhetoric often heard on *The View*, Maher responded with hard-hitting facts, highlighting contradictions that left her on the defensive. The debate highlighted just how disconnected elite liberal perspectives have become from the everyday issues that real Americans face.
I watch your show all the time, so I know that you're a comic, but you basically go after Trump and Biden, both of them. And a lot of people are not happy with you about that.
Not equally.
Well, not equally, because you know that Trump is more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger than I was.
Before diving into the debate itself, it's crucial to understand the key figures involved. Whoopi Goldberg, a staunch advocate of liberal policies, has frequently dismissed criticisms of the left as nothing more than right-wing propaganda. On the other hand, Bill Maher isn't a conservative. He's a traditional liberal who rejects rigid ideological labels. This contrast set the stage for a truly captivating showdown.
I was talking about how he was never going to give up power long ago when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot. And I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot because plainly, I was using the term slow-moving coup before he was elected the first time.
That's right.
I said, this guy is never going to concede power. It's impossible to imagine him going, oh, I lost.
The confrontation kicked off when Whoopi dismissed concerns about crime, the economy, and the struggles of working-class Americans. Bill Maher quickly countered, pointing out that issues like inflation and personal safety affect everyday people far more than symbolic activism. Instead of addressing his points head-on, Whoopi deflected with a vague response that skirted the heart of the matter. Rather than engaging with the facts Maher presented, she relied on outdated talking points about economic policies that seemed increasingly out of touch with the real-world challenges people are facing.
Saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but...
Oh, I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credibility.
On the fence, Maher argued, you lose all credibility. Never one to let a weak argument slide, he zeroed in on a key contradiction in Whoopi's stance. He pointed out that progressive elites, especially white liberals, often claim to champion marginalized communities while ignoring the real issues those communities care about. Polls consistently show that Black and Hispanic voters are more focused on concerns like economic stability and crime than on the ideological debates that dominate social media. Whoopi's refusal to acknowledge this disconnect only served to highlight the flaws in her argument.
I mean, my bond with my audience has always been, I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is, you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Right.
That's.
Sorry,
yeah.
Okay.
And look, Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
The real turning point came when Maher shifted the conversation to political hypocrisy. He raised the controversies surrounding Hunter Biden, calling out how Democrats, who often preach accountability, go silent when one of their own is at the center of a scandal. Whoopi, clearly uncomfortable, tried to downplay Biden's actions, suggesting they were being blown out of proportion. But Emma wasn't about to let her off the hook so easily.
Trump doesn't present that way. You look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young. but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
Well, here's what I said. Like when I came back after the strike in September, I said, he should get out.
Maher reminded the audience of President Biden's own words, claiming that no one is above the law, right before granting a pardon to his son. This stark double standard, Maher argued, is exactly why so many Americans have become disillusioned with the political system. If the rules only apply when it's convenient, they're no longer rules at all. Whoopi's defense faltered, unable to withstand the weight of Maher's logic.
I mean, a conservative once said to me, what you guys in the liberal side of it don't get about Donald Trump is we don't like him either.
Yeah.
It's just that in this country, it's binary. I mean, gender may not be binary, but politics is. You only get two choices. And the stuff that they are afraid of, they see Donald Trump as a bulwark against.
As the conversation grew more intense, Maher turned his attention to the media's role in shaping public perception. He called out mainstream outlets for suppressing the Hunter Biden story ahead of the election, accusing them of prioritizing narrative control over journalistic integrity. Instead of addressing the evidence Maher presented, Whoopi dismissed his argument as nothing more than another right-wing conspiracy theory.
Buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
Armed with facts, Maher reminded Whoopi that even left-leaning journalists had admitted the Hunter Biden story was deliberately suppressed for political reasons. He argued that at its core, this is the real danger of woke ideology. It's not about truth or justice, but about controlling the narrative. Once again, Whoopi had no solid rebuttal and, rather than engaging with his points, chose to change the subject.
Obama had her over to the White House, like in 2013, to hint, hey, spend more time with the grandkids. That would not be a good idea, Ruth. And she didn't take the hint, and she was not in good health, and she stayed too long, and she ruined her legacy and got the Supreme Court now to be a pretty right-wing organization. Said Biden shouldn't do that. But, ego, he's Dracula. He has crossed oceans of time to be here, and he's not going to give it up now.
The conversation then took a broader turn as Maher criticized the progressive movement for creating an environment where questioning their beliefs is seen as an act of hostility. He pointed out that working-class Americans, the very people progressives claim to represent, are not buying into the extreme narratives pushed by media elites. Instead of acknowledging this reality, Whoopi continued to dismiss valid concerns as nothing more than right-wing rhetoric. Maher then shifted focus to the changing political landscape, explaining how the Democratic Party's sharp leftward shift has alienated key voter demographics, including Black and Hispanic Americans. Polls show that these communities tend to be more patriotic, more supportive of law enforcement, and less tolerant of unchecked illegal immigration than white progressives. Yet, Democrats persist in catering to elite activists instead of addressing the real concerns of these communities.
And that stuff is a lot closer to the home. It's like my kid is coming home from school and they're not allowed to tell me if they're transitioning. The school is going to take the side of the kid over the parent. Stuff like that. There is a lot of crazy stuff on the left. This book, there's stuff that each side is going to like and probably stuff they're not going to like so much in there.
Throughout the debate, Whoopi Goldberg struggled to defend her positions when confronted with Maher's fact-based arguments. Instead of addressing the points directly, she repeatedly resorted to vague talking points, emotional appeals, and deflection. This is a common issue for many figures within the woke movement, whose narratives often rely more on ideological commitment than on objective reality. A key moment came when Maher pressed Whoopi on the genuine concerns of Black and Hispanic Americans. Rather than acknowledging that these communities prioritize economic stability and public safety over progressive activism, Whoopi attempted to shift the conversation to unrelated topics. This exposed a core weakness in woke politics, the inability to confront inconvenient truths. When their ideological commitments are challenged, figures like Whoopi often rely on changing the subject rather than engaging with the actual argument.
You used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bashed. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustice.
With her arguments effectively dismantled, Whoopi resorted to playing the victim. She accused Maher of misrepresenting her views and making her look bad. However, Emma wasn't distorting anything. He was simply holding up a mirror, and Whoopi didn't like what she saw. When confronted with hard facts, she had no legitimate response. Interview 13. Maher's takedown was particularly powerful because it didn't come from a conservative. As a lifelong liberal, he possesses the credibility to challenge the excesses of the progressive movement. His refusal to conform to ideological purity tests has made him an outsider in some circles, but it has also earned him the respect of those who value critical thinking and honest debate.